This is showing YouTube. I come into my job and I hear stories like the one I'm going to show you in just a sec, and I start boiling inside. And this is what boils my skin. With that in mind, welcome to the show. I tell you, these mass mandate fights on school board meetings is going to be like Jerry Springer all over again. And if you guys think I'm comparing school board fights to the Jerry Springer show, you're dead wrong. So let's get started with our COVID cases. 3.88 million plus 22,741. With the deaths, 61,207 plus 417. Anyways, it's counted being close to 60,000. With 58,496 plus 204. And with over 1,100 cases. Hospitalizations for tests, 1.25 million have been tested and taken. 145K have been tested, and 12.9% have been positive. Hospitalizations, 93,000 are hospitalized and 25,000 are ICU. As for vaccinations, 16.9 million have had at least one dose, and 14.3 million have had at least been fully vaccinated. I'm one of those people who've been fully vaccinated right here. The basic thing everybody must do is to make sure that everyone's safe. That's the whole purpose of this thing. We have to make sure that we're safe every now and then. And by doing that, we have to make sure that we take these precautions seriously. And this is not a game. If this was a game, everybody would win. But it is not. And I take all this crap very seriously. Very seriously. That's the main reason why I created this show 5 years ago, to get serious. And moving on to more of our vaccines, in the state of Texas, 31.3 million doses have been given, 14.3 have been fully vaccinated, while 49.4% have been vaccinated. In the U.S., 3.82 million doses have been given, 180 million have been fully vaccinated, and 50.7% of the population has been fully vaccinated, with 1%. So basically, what you need to do, what you have to do is make sure that you're fully vaccinated. There is no but. And if you have these symptoms, you need to stay home for a number of days. Especially if you're in school. If you're in school, you have to make sure that you do it. That you stay quarantined for a number of days, like 10 days or 2 weeks, whatever. That all depends on how you gotten COVID. And what I said to you on Monday was, keep a journal. Write it down to make sure write it down. Where you've been, have you gotten COVID? And that way, give it to your nurse, that way they'll understand, instead of just them asking all the questions. So that we can all be safe here. And if you don't want to get this, then these tips, like I've always given you for years. Masks are very important. The mask should be like this. And if yours doesn't do that, just twist it like this. That's how it should be. Not under here, nor down here. Has to be at the bridge of the nose. Next. Also, wash your hands every 20 seconds to stop the spread of germs. If you're sick, you stay home. If you've gotten COVID and you've gotten sick, you really should stay home. That's how it is. Also, social distance. Make sure that social distance. Make sure you stay within 6 feet if you don't have the COVID vaccine. If you're partially vaccinated, you still gotta wear the mask. If your child's under 2 or has a medical condition, masks should not be an option. That should not be the option. And for children, I really don't think that should be happening. As we'll explain shortly. But next we're going to look at more COVID cases from schools, and this video that just boiled that made me boil inside, and especially from the Houston superintendent. We'll have all of that when we return. Moving on to schools and COVID. Philadelphia ISD is now releasing their spreadsheets on the COVID totals. Let's go back to August. August 2nd, we have one student, high school student, who was diagnosed with COVID. 5th, 0. Highest ever is 26 from the 23rd. While staff members were at 0. And on the 31st, there was 13. Active cases, total cases were 199 back in August. 19 were for junior high staff, high school staff. Junior high had 100. 5 for junior high staff. 121 for independent school districts, independent schools. The staff for independent was 5. 98 for elementary. Elementary staff 13. Primary 36. Primary staff 5. 25 for ECC student. ECC staff 7. Transaction 4. The district had 9. And for students who participated in counseling last month, as of 64 for high school, 37 for junior high, 51 for students, 43, 24 for elementary and primary, and 9 for ECC. Now, let's move on to today. Yesterday, there were 2 totals. So we have 10 for the 1st and 10 for the 7th. That's 20 plus 5, 25, plus 2 equals 7, plus 1 equals 8, plus 3, 31, 40, 47, like 47. And looks like we're doing good for this month. And right now, we're operating in stage 2. We have to make sure that operating in stage 2. So we have to make sure that we're staying in stage 2 or 1. Prevention and migration. That's the 2 stages we need to stay in. And all the things have to be done. Deep cleaning, all that stuff. Foggers are provided. Moving on now. Imagine going to the school board. I mean, this happened months ago, where Utah Leaders Education parents reacted to school board meeting that was ended by anti-mask protest. Now, when I watched this story, it started boiling underneath my skin after I ate breakfast. Little pancakes, bacon, and eggs from the corner bakery. And after watching this last night, it just really boiled underneath my skin that the board members adjourned the meeting. The people were in charge of citizens, and they pretended to be school board president. So, take a look.
I move that adjourn this meeting.
I'll second. We have a motion to adjourn.
The scene just last night, the Granite School Board abruptly ending their meeting while angry parents chant their opposition to masks for students. A lot of people still talking about that meeting today.
They are. Spencer Joseph has been talking to teachers and the group that called for parents to attend that meeting.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
To act in that manner in such an
Motion to adjourn.
uncivil way, it was very disappointing and disheartening.
Senator come up here and speak in the name of my children who you guys are abusing?
It's one thing to be upset about the mask mandate, but it's something else entirely to behave like an unruly mob.
It is our elected officials who have pitted parents against school boards with their policies.
Chaos erupted at Tuesday's Granite School District meeting when the board moved on from public comment about the state's K-12 mask mandate continuing.
To be clear, at no point on last night's agenda was the mask mandate part of that discussion.
Parents even taking control of the meeting once it adjourned.
They're gonna leave.
We do not endorse or sanction those actions that lead to a mob rule mentality.
Utah Parents United, a group against a K-12 mask mandate, promoted the meeting for parents to voice their opinion, but said those who became unruly were individual parents.
You will listen to us.
No, we've had our citizen participation.
School districts have the choice to let parents be heard, and when those parents weren't heard, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for them.
That behavior would not be tolerated in my classroom, and it was completely inappropriate in a public meeting.
Deborah Gatrol is a teacher with Granite and was very upset about what happened.
I'm not even sure that everyone who participated in that meeting is actually a Granite patron, let alone a Granite parent.
Utah Parents United say they will continue to civilly fight against masks, especially on Capitol Hill.
And we can do more. We can do more to reach out to our representatives.
But for Granite District, they are not changing their stance.
The order on the mask mandate was re-upped just yesterday through the end of the school year. Was the only portion of public health orders that was re-upped. That's a little bit ironic that this continues to be a hinge point for some people.
Granite School District said that the board had other items that they were supposed to get to that now have to be tabled to another day. At Granite School District, Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
And she was right. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. And there's other ones too. I mean, I'm going to focus on this one. I'll focus on more in just a minute. Parents have a right, yes. I mean, you can't have anybody run, but the point is, you don't act like an angry mob. If they move on from this, then that's just basically what it is. I mean, and here's one that, and here's a mom that just went off from Georgia and just went on blast in front of the school board. So, watch.
If you truly mean that, you would end. If you truly mean that, you would end the mask requirement tonight. Tonight. This is not March 2020 anymore. We have 3 vaccines. Every adult in the state of Georgia that wants that vaccine is eligible to get it right now, and every one of us knows that young children are not affected by this virus. They're not. And that's a blessing. But as the adults, what have we done with that blessing? We've shoved it to the side and we've said, we don't care. You're still going to wear a mask on your face every day, 5 and 6-year-olds. You still can't play together on the playground like normal children, 7 and 8-year-olds. We don't care. We're still going to force you to carry a burden that was never yours to carry. Shame on us. My 6-year-old looks at me every month before I come here and she says, are you going to tell them tonight? Tell them I don't want to wear this anymore. And I say, baby, it's not time to fight that battle yet. I try to explain that there's so many things. But it's April 15th, 2021, and it's time. Take these masks off of my child. And I know what I'm going to be met with. But Ms. Taylor, the CDC, we did not vote for people at the CDC. We did elect leaders who do create policy. We elected the 5 of you. We chose you to make difficult decisions for our children. We chose you to make decisions that would be in our children's best interest, and forcing 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9-year-old little children to cover their noses and their mouths where they breathe for 7 hours a day, every day for the last 9 months for a virus that you know doesn't affect them. That is not in their best interest. And this has to stop. Defend our children. My 6-year-old can't come up here and say this. It has to stop. Take these off of our children.
And I agree with her. But the question is the virus affecting children? Are children exposed by the virus? When we come back, we'll answer the question. With school boards mandating masks, parents getting angry and forcing and creating a mob for the children to end this, the question remains: can children get COVID-19, and is it possible for all children? The CDC says while children have been less affected by COVID-19 compared to adults, children can be affected by the virus that causes COVID-19, and some children develop severe illness. Children with underlying medical conditions, there are increased risk for several illnesses compared to children without underlying medical conditions. Babies under 1 year old may be more likely to have severe illness of COVID-19. Children with certain underlying conditions such as asthma, diabetes, sickle cell may be more likely to have severe illness of COVID-19. Symptoms of COVID-19 are similar to adults and children and can look like symptoms of other common illnesses, like colds, sore staph throat, or allergies. Based on evidence, while fewer children have been sick with COVID-19 compared to adults, children can be affected with the virus that causes COVID-19 to get sick from COVID-19 can spread the virus that causes COVID-19 to others. While it appears in most cases children who become sick experience mild illness, some children can severely ill with COVID-19 in rare cases. Severe illness in children might lead to death. They reported that children under the ages of 0 to 17 years old compared to adults. And the question is, are children at lower risk than adults? Children age of 18, about 8.5% of reported cases, few deaths in age groups. But for the stories on the risk of children better understand in this age group. But that's why throughout this half hour, I'm focusing on school boards mandating masks for children and parents who are beside their children saying they don't want to wear a mask because of this issue. This comes a month ago when Houston School Board votes to approve the superintendent's mask mandate. That was the reason why yesterday I didn't get a lot of sleep. So, let's take a look.
USAA is made for the safe pilots, like Matt, who can come to a stop with barely a bother. With USAA Safe Pilot, when you drive safe, you can save up to 30% on your auto insurance. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for. Get a quote today.
I'm here to speak in support of the universal mask mandate for HISD.
Dozens of parents, teachers, students, and others made their voices heard at tonight's HISD board meeting.
I want you to understand what it's like for me to wear a mask to school all day.
In the end, most spoke out against a mask mandate.
We will not comply, and my child will be at school without a mask.
It is unconstitutional, it is not safe, and it is inhumane.
This makes no sense what y'all are talking about.
Outside before the meeting, dozens protested the expected mask mandate, including HISD parent Jennifer.
And I'm about to pull him out. I don't want him in HISD anymore. I don't. I'm tired of it.
In the end, the board voted unanimously in favor, not of a mask mandate, but in favor of the superintendent's decision to mandate masks for, quote, all students, staff, and visitors while indoors on HISD property and while riding HISD buses. School board member Elizabeth Santos.
There are teachers out there that have to go home, have to face our children every day and think, what are we bringing home to our families?
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson-Lee also supported tonight's decision. Many other speakers pleaded, let the parents decide.
My two beautiful children who, for the last 14 months, have worn a mask for up to 10 hours a day.
No one has to tell me what's best for my child.
I agree. No school board member should tell their parent what's best for their child. And again, I have to agree. We have to make sure we are doing what's best for our kids, and I understand. You can create a safety plan, you can create a safety plan for everyone else and stick with it. But the point is, you don't tell parents what they have to do for their kids. That should be up to the parents, not you, the board members. And if I was superintendent, this is what I would do. I would not enforce it. I would recommend it for all children, and make it optional. But when you school board members try to enforce a mandate like this, parents will be up in arms, shouting over you, saying, we want what's best for our child. You don't have to choose. Every parent can look at you in the face with everybody here trying to tell you that this is not what's best for my child. And you're fortunate it was not my child or not one of my cousins or my brother doing the same thing because of issues like this. That can lead to a lot of things, especially for those parents who want to be up in arms, protesting, acting like a mob, like it's a Jerry Springer show. I mean, it's public comments. Everybody has a right to voice their opinions. And according to Celeste Garcia, Superintendent of Flower Bluff, she's like, no school should enforce a mask mandate. No one enforced that for Houston School District. They didn't get the message. Alright, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Well, we're out of time here, but this discussion will be happening again on tomorrow with the question. Tomorrow we're going to be focusing on children wearing masks, and from Mask Mythbusters, from HealthyChildren.org. We're going to ask the common questions like, can wearing a mask make it hard for my child to breathe? Can masks interfere with a child's lung development? Do masks trap the carbon dioxide? Can masks lead to weaker immune systems? How do masks prevent the spread of COVID-19? We're going to answer those questions tomorrow as we continue on with our discussion on children wearing masks and what's best for parents and their children as they continue going to school, as people get at risk of COVID-19. It's all position to Cut Me a Break Thursday. We'll see you again tomorrow for Cut Me a Break Friday. I did not do it yesterday because I passed out, so we'll see you again for another edition of Cut Me a Break Friday. I'll see you tomorrow. Again, have a good day.